I never thought of myself as the kind of woman who would betray her husband. In fact, if someone had told me a year ago that I would be standing at the edge of an unforgivable mistake, I would have laughed in their face. But life has a strange way of pushing you toward decisions you never imagined making. My name is Emily Carter, and I have been married to Daniel for 5 beautiful years. He is the kind of man most women pray for. Kind, hardworking, and fiercely loyal. He loves me in ways that sometimes make my heart ache with guilt, even before I had a reason to feel this way. Our life together was comfortable, simple. We weren't rich, but we weren't struggling either. Daniel worked as a financial consultant, and I was climbing the corporate ladder at Brookline and Hayes, a well-respected marketing firm. My job was demanding, but I loved it. Or at least I thought I did. Then came the promotion, a senior executive position. It opened up, and I was one of the top candidates. Getting this role meant a higher salary, more influence, and a better future. It meant Daniel and I could finally buy that house. We always talked about the one with the big backyard for future kids. It meant no more worrying about unexpected expenses. No more feeling like I had to prove myself over and over again. I worked hard for this late nights. Early mornings, endless hours perfecting campaigns. I deserved it, but so did a handful of other people. And that's where Richard Wallace came in. Richard was my boss, the senior director of the company. He was powerful, respected, and intimidating. His presence alone made people sit up straight or speak more carefully. His reputation ruthless but fair. A man who rewarded those who proved their worth. He was also my husband's former college mate. Not a close friend, but they had history. I knew this because Daniel had mentioned him a few times. Nothing major. Just casual stories about how Richard had always been ambitious. Always chasing success like a starving man chasing a meal. I never thought much of it. Not until the day he called me into his office. "Emily, you're an asset to this company. You know that, right?" His voice was smooth, measured. He leaned back in his chair, his sharp eyes watching me, like he already knew how this conversation would go. I nodded, my heart pounding. "Thank you, sir. I try my best." He smiled, but there was something behind it. Something unreadable. "The board is reviewing the candidates for the senior executive role. Your name is on the short list. You're talented, hardworking, and capable. But you're also competing against people just as hungry as you. People who are willing to do whatever it takes." My stomach tightened. Whatever it takes. I forced a polite smile, I understand. "I'll keep working hard to prove I deserve the position." Richard tilted his head, slightly amused. "That's the thing, Emily. Sometimes hard work isn't enough. Sometimes opportunity comes in different forms." I knew then what he was saying, but I couldn't believe it. I sat frozen in my chair, my breath catching in my throat. Was I imagining this? Was I misreading him? He didn't look away. He didn't need to say the words. The message was clear: a night. One night, and in return, the promotion would be mine. The air in the office felt heavy. My mind screamed no, but another voice, quieter yet persistent, whispered, "Think about it. Think about what this could mean for you, for Daniel, for your future." I stood up abruptly, my hands shaking slightly. I should go." Richard didn't stop me, he only nodded. Unknowing look in his eyes. "Think about it, Emily. You know where to find me." I walked out of his office, my legs weak beneath me. I felt disgusted, angry. How dare he? How could he assume I would even consider such a thing? But the anger didn't last long, because beneath it, something else started to creep in doubt. What if I said no and someone else said yes? What if my hard work was ignored because someone else was willing to pay the price? I wanted to believe the company would choose fairly, that talent and dedication would win. But I had seen too much to be naive. I had seen men with half my skill get ahead because they knew the right people. I had seen women left behind because they refused to play the game. I went home that night feeling like I was being split in two. Daniel greeted me at the door, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. "You look tired, long day." I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced to smile. "Yeah. Just a lot on my mind." He pulled me into a warm embrace. His arms safe and familiar. I didn't deserve this kind of love. As we ate dinner, he talked about his day, about a new project he was working on, about how much he admired my ambition. "You're going to get that promotion, babe." "I just know it." "You've worked so hard for this." I nodded, forcing down the overwhelming wave of guilt. I had worked hard, but was it enough? That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. Richard's words looping in my head. Sometimes hard work isn't enough. I hated how much truth there was in that. And for the first time, I considered what it would mean to say yes. To cross the line, to make a choice. In the dark, I didn't say yes. Not immediately, for days. I pretended life was normal. I went to work, sat through meetings, answered emails, and smiled when people spoke to me. I came home, kissed my husband, cooked dinner, and made love to him like nothing was wrong, but inside I was drowning. The thought of what Richard had proposed clung to me like a second skin. It wasn't just the offer, it was the possibility. Would I really lose the promotion if I said no? Or was this just a test to see how desperate I was? And if I did it, if I crossed the line, could I live with myself afterward? I wanted to believe I was stronger than this. That I was the kind of woman who would never sell herself for success. But the truth was, I had never been this hungry before. I needed this promotion, not just for me, but for Daniel. We had spent years saving, sacrificing, waiting, always waiting for the right time to move forward. This promotion would change everything. And what was one night just once? One mistake that no one would ever know about. The first time I thought about it like that, I felt sick. The second time, it didn't feel as bad. The third time, it felt like a solution. Work became unbearable. I could feel Richard watching me, waiting for my answer. He never mentioned it again. Not directly, but every time I passed his office, his door was open, an invitation. And the competition for the promotion was getting fiercer. People were whispering in corners, forming alliances. I overheard a conversation between two colleagues. Mark and Vivian, both top contenders. "She's good, but she's not aggressive enough," Mark muttered. "She doesn't have the right connections." Vivian agreed. Richard respects her, but I don't think she has what it takes to secure the position. I stood around the corner, my fist clenched. They were right. I had no powerful friends, no inside connections. I had only my work ethic. And that wasn't enough. In a world where favors and secrets decided careers, the doubt started eating at me like a disease. What if I lost? What if I let my morals guide me, only to watch someone else take the job I had fought so hard for? I started sleeping less, lying awake at night while Daniel snored softly beside me. His arm draped across my waist. I felt like a fraud, A good wife wouldn't even consider this. But a good wife also wouldn't let her husband struggle, while she had the chance to fix everything. A week later, I found myself in front of Richard's office. I wasn't sure how I got there. One moment I was walking to the break room, and the next I was staring at his nameplate, my heart pounding in my ears. I could still walk away, I could still say no. But my hands were already pushing the door open. Richard glanced up from his desk, his expression unreadable. He didn't look surprised. I closed the door behind me. My throat dry. I've thought about what you said. I hated how weak I sounded. How small he leaned back, folding his hands across his chest, and my stomach twisted. I wanted to scream to tell him he was disgusting, that I would never sell myself like this. Instead, I whispered, "Okay." His lips curled into a slow, knowing smile. Good choice, and just like that, the decision was made. I left his office feeling like a different person, like I had just signed a deal with the devil. I told myself it was just one time. It wouldn't change me. It wouldn't define me.